Meteosat 4.
Oh, that would be me then, would it? Right, okay. Heavy rain is likely to spread into all areas during the night, accompanied by strong and cold northeasterly winds. The overnight low 5 Celsius, 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Heavy rain followed by brighter, drier weather spreading from the north in the afternoon today. Very cold northeasterly wind expected though. Maximum temperature 8 Celsius, 46 degrees Fahrenheit. The outlook for Friday and the weekend, mostly dry with sunny intervals, but frost night and morning. Temperature now 2 Celsius, 34 Fahrenheit. Midnight Line, that's better. I'll put my mic up. That's a good idea, isn't it? Okay, Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's a free-for-all. You can talk about anything you want to talk about. But the big thing that everybody will be talking about tonight, tomorrow, and probably for the rest of history is England's 2-0 defeat in Holland. I should correct myself. I said it was Bergkamp who pulled Platt down. It actually wasn't. It was Koeman. I knew that. They've all got the same sort of names, though. It's very difficult to follow all this Van der Blip and all the rest of it. Call themselves Smith and Jones. Give themselves decent names. Anyway, Koeman. The controversy surrounds Koeman pulling down David Platt. Now, Platt was clean through. There was absolutely no doubt about it. He's a lethal finisher as well. He was clean through. He was away. We were going to do it. We were going to take the lead until Koeman pulled him down, hauled him to the ground. Referee blew. He pointed for a penalty, at which point I was on my feet. Pointed for the penalty, consulted the linesman, changed his decision to a free kick. What sort of refereeing is that? Even if you're wrong, you stick with the decision, especially when it's going to give us a penalty. Anyway, he changed his decision after consulting the linesman. It was a free kick. OK, fair enough. Free kick or penalty, that's down to the referee. But as El Tell, football pundit of this parish, pointed out, so if El Tell said it, it must be true. El Tell said, once you've decided that a foul has been committed, you have to look at the circumstances under which the foul was committed. In this case, Platt was clean through on goal. No doubt about that. He'd skinned them, left them for dead. Left him for dead. As the commentator said, Koeman's got no pace, and it's the sort of thing that he does when he plays his club football. Because he's got no pace, he pulls people down. A bit like I used to do towards the end of my playing days. Because I know what it's like. You can just start to get really upset. All these young kids zipping past you. Come here. It was a professional foul. Or was it? All the world, apart from the referee and the Dutch fans, seemed to be screaming professional foul. Now, the FIFA directive for a professional foul is that you get the red card. You're sent off the field. The referee produced a yellow card. He booked him. The resultant free kick came to nothing. It was blocked. It was driven out. 2 minutes later, they got a free kick. Seaman, I mean, where was he? Where was he? I mean, it's another thing I can't understand about the game is why Seaman has escaped criticism for his lousy positioning. What a stupid position. He might as well, I mean, you could see how effective he was going to be, vis-a-vis not very effective. He might as well have stood on his hands and tried to save it with his feet. He just glued to his left-hand post. Or the right, as you just sort of look at it, it was Seaman's left-hand post. Up come Koeman, bang, thank you very much, 1-0. End of story. That's it. Were we cheated? Were we cheated out of it by a bad refereeing decision? Because you can say what you like about Koeman, but he would have found it very difficult to score had he actually been on the sidelines when the free kick against England that led to the first goal was given. Incredibly difficult to score from the sidelines, I think. So that is more or less it. Well, I mean, they're putting a brave face on it, but it's more or less it, because now to qualify, England must beat San Marino by at least 7 goals, which is quite feasible, I suppose. That bit's quite feasible. But Holland also have to lose to Poland. So we could still do it, but the chances are minimal. Were we cheated out of it? 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. And what about the manager? What about the manager? Now we're in such dire straits. He says, I've got a contract till November. I will see that contract through. Do we just abandon him now? Do we just get another manager? And if so, who should manage the England football team? Preferably somebody who knows something about football. Although, to be fair to him, I thought he picked a half-decent side, not a totally decent side. As far as I could see, the major problem with them was that they never actually looked in control. The other problem was that the fates just seemed to be totally against them tonight. Totally against them. I mean, what, they hit the bar twice. What's his name? Donkey from Arsenal. Adams, that was it. He got himself in a superb position, but didn't even appear to attempt a shot, just knocked it across the 6-yard box. So, how did you feel about the match? Were we beaten fairly and squarely, or was we robbed? But it is a free-for-all, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. We'll go to the lines in a moment. First of all, though, the letter's been arriving. A rather obscene one here. I'll leave it to your imagination. It says, "My Her Lady." And it's from the captain in Tenerife, except he's arrived back today, complete with the pensioners, who apparently came third in the synchronised swimming competition, you'll be pleased to know. Probably beaten by the Dutch. Probably cheated as well. "Dear Ian, arrived safely after a good flight." What's a good flight? Everybody writes that on postcards. Arrived safely after a good flight. What's a bad flight? Well, that's one that crashes, is it? In which case you wouldn't send a postcard at all, would you? "Apartments are good, comfortable rooms. Gert, the pensioner, has set up in business against the Spanish and is making a fortune. Florrie has had 3 holiday romances in 2 days. Is this a record? Hope all the listeners are okay. I took this photo on the beach today." And there you go. It's a very obscene photo. That's very obscene. Totally obscene. Okay, following on from last Friday's discussion, which got on to, and last night's to an extent, which got on to extreme nationalist parties. This letter purports, and I say purports because it's not actually signed, it just has a PO box number on it, and it purports to come from the National Front Walsall branch, who write typewriters, because they probably don't let them have anything sharp. "Dear Ian, we," in capital letters, "must say that you treated Eric on your radio talk show was offensive at the least." Now, normally, if people write letters that are grammatically incompetent, even if you're an 8-year-old, I correct them. But I'm not doing that. So I'll read you exactly what they've written to me. And it purports, as I say, only purports to be from the National Front Walsall branch. It says, "Dear Ian, we must say that you treated Eric on your radio talk show was offensive at the least. You are a race traitor. British citizens have a right to say what they think, with you calling them Nazi. We say no more multicultural experiments in Walsall and a complete ban on all building of mosques, Hindu temples. Now are we Nazis? I bet you said yes. Well, that's up to you, Ian. It's not National Front propaganda to say Britain's having a race war now. It is Kick all coloured immigrants out now." There you go. And that purports, as I say, it comes with a couple of leaflets. Asking me if I want to join, basically. No, you're quite okay, chaps. Well, I'm a race traitor, am I? Well, I think that anybody that you consider to be a race traitor has got to be a sort of okay guy, so thanks very much for the inverted compliment. And I suggest that before you get any pretensions to power, that you actually learn to spell. I mean, this is English culture, is it? You can't even use the language. It's pathetic. If my nephew, who's 7, wrote a letter with the grammatical content of this thing, I think I'd invest in extra tuition, or at least start suspecting he was somewhat backward for his age. So before you start, going on about your economic policies, why don't you learn the basics, like how to write? As I say, though, that only purports to be from them. But it's definitely from somebody, so whoever it is, please learn to write before you write again, okay? Thank you very much. Now, to the lines we go. It's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC, 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. And first on the lines, it's Lynn. Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning, Ian.
Come in, Lynn.
Hello.
Hello, Lynn. What can we do for you?
Well, first off, I think you're being a bit generous with the England-Holland thing.
Generous? Why so?
Well, I didn't rate England to win anyway. I didn't think they got a hope of winning over there against Holland. And I think really this thing with Koeman has sort of detracted from that. But well, England are just not good enough.
It's 11 men against 11 men, isn't it? So, I mean, in any football game, you've got a chance. I mean, if you didn't, then the minnows would never take part in the FA Cup. They would never get to the 3rd, 4th and 5th rounds.
Oh, that's very true.
So the point one is you've always got a chance.
Yeah, you've always got a chance, but the England side that was there today, in fact, the England sides over the last few months, they are just not good enough to play against the Hollands and the Germanys of this world. They haven't got the class players.
Well, come on, we've got probably the hardest football league in the world. We've got the toughest football league in the world.
I don't think you can say that anymore.
Why haven't we got the players?
We haven't. I mean, everybody raves about Gascoigne. I don't rate him at all.
You don't rate Gaza?
I do not rate Gaza at all.
He's pretty good at crying.
Oh yeah, he's wonderful at crying.
And so's Ian Wright. He's trying to get in on the Gascoigne bandwagon, apparently.
Oh, this is it. I suppose he'll be called Wazza now, will he?
Very well, something like that. Begins with a W, anyway. But you say they weren't good enough. I thought for the first 40 minutes they played out the skins.
Yeah, but it still wasn't as good as what Holland played. Holland played good, passing, controlled football.
Yes, I would accept that.
They played it all the way through.
But then,
and England don't.
But then if you're in a stadium with 48,000 Dutch people roaring their team on, it's the Dutch who are going to have the confidence, and it's the English who are going to be battling away.
Oh.
For the duration. The whole thing is a battle.
So what happened at Wembley then, when they only scraped a 2-2 draw?
Well, that was half an hour of panic, wasn't it?
Exactly, they're just not good enough.
Despite having a 2-0 lead, they squandered it.
Exactly. They are not good enough. And they will never be good enough until football and the way that the kids are taught these days, it's taught properly in the schools. To my mind, you watch people playing football these days, the skill that they do acquire is knocked out of them when they're 16 and 17.
Well, if you look at, I mean, one of my favourite footballers ever was Bobby Charlton, right?
Mm.
And I was reading an article that he was interviewed in, and he said that years ago, when him and Jackie used to play football, they used to play with his dad's rolled-up pit socks. He used to get his dad's pit socks, yeah? 4 or 5 pairs, roll it up to a football and play with that.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we used to play with tennis balls, because we didn't have footballs.
Or a tin can.
Anything.
That's it.
Absolutely anything. You used to go down the park and stick your jerseys down.
That used to be your goalposts.
Exactly, yeah, and have countless arguments about whether it was in or not.
That's it.
But what that was doing was developing basic skills.
But they don't do that anymore. They don't allow... I must admit, when they first raved about this Ryan Giggs, I didn't rate him much, but I've seen him play now, watched him, the highlights on the TV, and he has got the makings to be a world-class player, providing they leave him alone.
Which they won't, you reckon?
I don't think they will. They'll wreck him. I mean, I could not understand Taylor's reasoning tonight in taking off Merson and leaving Sharp on the field. I thought Sharp had a terrible game. He did not do anything.
Well, if I'm brutally honest about it, I can't understand why Merson was selected in the first place. I don't understand why he seems to have this southern bias.
Well, there's that about it. But then again, he's got a Manchester United bias.
Yeah, but
I hate Manchester United anyway. I mean...
Well, they're not exactly top of my Christmas list either, but... They're not top of my Christmas list, but I recognise a strong side when I see one. And I recognise a side that has a deep squad. And they've got it. They're a very powerful side at the moment, and they're the ones you're going to have to beat to win the championship. And when players are on that sort of form, they're up. They've got confidence. They play well.
This is maybe, but to me, a player like Sharp hasn't got the experience and the skill of a player like Waddle. Now, I think Waddle is a class player, and I think he should have played him.
So we needed to go for more experience?
You've got to have a bit of both.
Because if I'm brutally honest about it, I think that while England sort of harried and they were up and they scuffled a bit and they fought for things, there was, as far as I could see, an underlying lack of confidence.
Yeah.
And that confidence showed itself, as you say, they didn't appear to have the ability to stroke the ball round. They certainly didn't seem to take control of the game. No,
I mean, the one player that stood out for me, and I hate to say it, was Tony Adams.
Yes,
I thought he defended brilliant. And that sticks in my throat to say that, because he's another player I can't stand.
Donkey Adams?
Yeah, but you can't take away from it the way he defended today.
No, I thought the defence played reasonably well. I'm not sure about that second goal.
That was a bad goal to lose.
It was a terrible goal
to
lose.
That was a very bad goal.
What exactly happened?
Well, I couldn't see where the defence was, actually.
No, that's the problem with watching it on the television.
That Dutch player seemed to just run straight across the penalty area line and just had a free shot at goal.
What did you think about Seaman and the first goal? I thought his positioning was absolutely terrible.
It was. I mean, this is when I say you can go on that Koeman shouldn't have been on the pitch. That was irrelevant. As soon as he stayed on the pitch, it was no good them thinking, oh, he shouldn't have been on the pitch and they're not going to do this. What I noticed was that the commentator knew what Koeman was going to do with that ball, and the rest of the England players didn't.
I knew what he was going to do with that ball.
He said
I could see it. He's
going to flick it. 4 times he said it before he hit it.
Shortly, I'm not kidding you, I was so proud of this. But shortly before the commentator said it, I said to my girlfriend, they're going to score here because he's going to chip it to the left. Look at the space that Seaman's left. You could. And if I can see it, God knows they can see it. I mean, I'm not getting paid for seeing it, but those guys were. It was... Listen, I've got to move on. So you reckon total disaster. It was a red herring about Koeman being sent off. That shouldn't enter into it, and England simply aren't good enough.
I don't think so, no.
Okie dokie. Thanks for that, Lynn.
Okay.
Speak to you soon.
Good night.
Ta-ra. There we go, Lynn. She says, no sympathy at all for the England team. They were beaten 2-0. If you haven't heard, if you've been up the Limpopo River for the past 48 hours and have just recently returned, England were beaten 2-0 by Holland last night, and our chances now of qualifying for the World Cup are absolutely marginal. We need Poland to beat Holland by 0-0, and we need to beat San Marino by 7-0. So was it a red herring? Do you have any sympathy for the manager? Lynn, I didn't ask her that, but I would imagine that from what she said, she doesn't have a great deal of sympathy for the manager, because she said the England football team simply isn't good enough. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It is a free-for-all, though, so you can talk about anything you want, but I just get the feeling that most people are going to have an opinion. 16 million people were expected to watch the game on television in the UK. 16 million people watched it, so a lot of people are going to have an opinion about it. And we'll be back to the lines to find out what those opinions are after these.
Imagine trying to windsurf on a leafer. Imagine trying to balance an elephant on a matchstick. Imagine trying to run a business without the HiCom 100 GPT communications phone system from Telecom Midlands. The HiCom 100 is a high-quality system at a low price. It offers time and money-saving features, flexibility to suit your business needs, and effective call handling to build customer confidence. For a free quotation, call Telecom Midlands on 0384 287 027. Or you could try juggling with custard.
At Discount Ceramics, your only limit is your imagination. They've tiles for your bathroom, tiles for your shower room, tiles for your kitchen, and more. Discount Ceramics' low prices mean you can really go to town. In your kitchen, think how great tiles would look on the floor and on the work surface, as well as on the walls. With Discount Ceramics' trade prices and free delivery, your only limit is your imagination. Discount Ceramics, open every day at 31 Birmingham New Road, Parkfields, Wolverhampton.
Visit Discount Ceramics now and get discounts of up to 40%. Act now. This is a limited period offer. Discount Ceramics. Phone them on Wolverhampton 620-679.
Oh, hello there, Maud.
Hello, it's a lovely day.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Gorgeous. Listen, I hope you don't mind me asking, but I've been dying to know this for ages. Have you gone and changed your sheets yet?
No, not yet. I've got a few more days in them. I'll probably do it on Friday. That's when I get some dog food, see?
Oh, that's lovely.
Have you changed your sheets yet for new Kleenex quilted toilet tissue? Because it's quilted, it's the thickest, softest, most absorbent you can buy. Kleenex quilted toilet tissue. Why have sheets when you can have a quilt?
Beacon Radio.
Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It is a free-for-all, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about, but most people seem to have an opinion on the England football team. Should the manager go? And if the manager does go, then who should replace him? They were beaten 2-0 last night in Holland. Hello, we got you there. Right, hold on. They were beaten 2-0 in Holland last night. First caller on, Lynn. She says she got no sympathy for them. The Koeman incident was just a red herring. She says England simply aren't good enough, and that's that. We got Carl next. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. What can we do for you?
I'd just like to voice my opinions on the England match, really.
Please do.
Firstly, who was this referee?
Who was the Dutchman in the black?
That's
As
the
I
one.
was singing at the telly.
Yeah. I just cannot believe that he stated decisions to give a penalty, and then he totally changed his decision to give a free kick.
I think that shows lack of command, doesn't it? You're not in command of the situation. I accept that you consult the linesman, but consult the linesman before you give a decision, not after. But then again, you could say that the bad refereeing worked against us there, but I think it certainly worked for us when the Dutch scored and were ruled offside, because as the replay showed, there was no way on earth that guy was offside.
I mean...
The England back four was static, absolutely static. I went racing through, whack, in the net, thank you very much. It was a perfectly timed run. It was a good 3 feet onside when the ball was struck. They should have been given a goal there. So I suppose you could argue that over the course of 90 minutes it evens itself out.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to admit that the defence tonight played absolutely fantastic. Tony Adams, Gary Pallister really did play well, and so did Paul Parker. The one thing I cannot... I mean, the manager shouldn't really take any criticism for what happened tonight, but you've got to criticise him on the substitutions he keeps making. I mean, with reference to taking Paul Merson off. I mean, Paul Merson, in my views, did a lot more than what Alan Shearer did. So,
Shearer seemed to be largely anonymous. I mean, it strikes me that if you're going to pick Shearer, there's one reason you pick Shearer. Why do you pick Shearer? You pick him to score, don't you?
Exactly.
And yet, how many... The first opening, or the first sort of... maybe it wasn't the first opening, but certainly one of the first ones. Who did it fall to? It fell to Tony Adams, the defender.
Yeah.
Now, Adams didn't know what the flipping heck to do with it, did he?
Yeah.
But you can hardly blame him, because he's a defender.
Oh, no. I mean, he played very well. And there's no doubt about it, we did miss Paul Gascoigne in the midfield. I mean, with reference to the previous caller, I cannot see how she can say she doesn't rate Paul Gascoigne. I mean, according to me, he's one of the best midfielders in the world at present. And we greatly missed him in midfield tonight.
Yeah, but I think Gascoigne, it sort of blows hot and cold, because in the Poland game, in Poland, he blew cold. I mean, he was just largely anonymous. He was a waste of an England jersey.
Yeah.
On his day, I would agree with you that he's one of the finest footballers in the world.
Yeah. And David Seaman, I can't understand what he was doing on the second goal. It beats me.
Well, I seem to remember against... Was it Woods or Seaman who was in goal against Holland when we played them at Wembley?
Yeah, that was Woods, yeah.
That was Woods, was it?
Yeah.
Because he was the one who decided to let the ball go through his hands.
That's it, yeah.
If you remember, for one of the Dutch goals.
Yeah.
So, what is it with our goalkeepers? Don't pick him, he's good. You don't want him, he's good. Get a crap one.
Oh, well. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't.
You say that you can't blame the manager, and I agree.
Yeah.
For what happened last night, because I think he took a lot of criticism for the side that he picked, but I thought the side did function reasonably well, or as well as could be expected.
Oh, yeah, they did.
But,
definitely.
But just like bad refereeing decisions, these things tend to even themselves out over 10 World Cup qualifying games, or however many it is, yeah?
Yeah.
So, at the end of the World Cup qualifying campaign, how do you believe he's done?
The same as what Bobby Robson did. No, I mean, in the long run, he hasn't done too bad. But then again, he hasn't brought out the results that the people of Britain wanted. So, I mean, there's nothing really that you can say about that.
Nothing at all. Should he go?
Yeah, I think it's time to give somebody else a chance.
Who would you want to pick?
I suppose there's a couple of contenders, really. Ron Atkinson's one.
Big Ron, I'd like to see that. I really would like to see that. I'm sure the Villa supporters wouldn't.
Graham Turner from the Bulls.
Yes, okay.
So that's all I've got to say, really.
What about El Tel?
Possibly. Whether he'd take the job, that's another matter, but yeah, I'd like to see him, yeah.
Okie dokie. Listen, we thank you for that, Carl.
Okay then.
See you soon.
Cheers, bye.
Ta-ra. Because next on the lines, free for all at Beacon and WABC, though most people electing to speak about the England game. Here on the lines, good morning, El Capitano.
Hello, Flower.
Hello, me old fruitcake.
You alright, Petal?
I'm not bad. The pensioners came third in the
Yeah.
synchronised dance swimming.
Did you get the postcard alright?
I did get the postcard. You're very, very kind. It's very, very rude.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have a lovely time in Tenerife?
Yeah, lovely Flower. Lovely to be back.
Good.
And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Anyway, Petal, I
Yes?
thought I'd ring you and tell you about this, because, you know, today,
Yeah.
well, I went to the travel agents today to get some tickets for America. For me and I to the pensioners.
For the States?
Yeah. Well, because we you know, all the pensioners are England supporters.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah.
To
Well,
a pensioner.
we went round to the travel agents, and I booked up 6 tickets, and I paid £65 deposit on each one to go to America to watch the World Cup.
Oh dear.
And all the pensioners have been crocheting their scarves, England scarves.
They've been crocheting. What about Union Jacks?
Well, that was a bit too difficult for them.
You can always make those out of strong cardboard and a little ruler, can't you?
Yeah. So what we've done is, I've lost all the money, haven't I, Flower? I'm disgusted. And I think Johnny Birdcage should have been sent off.
Actually, it was Burkamp and it was actually Koeman, but an easy mistake to make because I made it before.
Yeah.
Johnny Birdcage.
Yeah. That's what the pensioners called him.
Did they?
Yeah.
With the pensioners.
And you know what we've done, Flower?
What have you done?
I've been into the fridge, and all the Danish bacon and all the Danish butter we've burnt.
It was Dutch. It was Holland. So you better get rid of your Edam cheese as well.
Yeah, that's what we've done. We've got rid of the Danish bacon and everything.
But Denmark, never mind. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, it's
too hard to explain.
So what do you think we'll do? Do you think I'll get a refund if I go into the travel agents? And tell them that the only reason I booked the tickets
It was to go and see England.
was because I wanted to take all the pensioners to England, because some of them, it would be an experience, wouldn't it, Flower?
Certainly would.
And that.
And one.
So do you think I'll get the money?
I think you could try it. The alternative thing to do,
Yeah.
of course, is to pick another football team to go and follow, like Ecuador.
Yeah, they're good.
No, not really. But I mean, they've got. They're not good, but the advantage is that the national flag is very easy to crochet.
Yeah. What colour is it, Flower?
Yellow and blue, I think. So
Yellow
it's only 2 colours.
Yellow and blue. What we can do is, you know, because we got to the white bit. We was going to do the red, white and blue.
Yeah.
But what I can do is I can put the bits that we've crocheted in with Florrie's smalls, because I'm yellow, and with a bit of luck, it can all run into each other.
Absolutely right. You could dye it.
Dye it, yeah, and it won't cost us no more, Flo, will it?
That sounds pretty good. And then you could, assuming Ecuador qualify,
Yeah.
you could go and support them in the World Cup.
Yeah.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
And then you have your yellow and your blue, little crocheted flags.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be lovely.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Ian, I know that if ever I'm in trouble, I know that I can always call and talk to you.
You can.
Because you understand all the little problems and you sort me out. You know, all the pensioners have been crying tonight around the telly.
Ah.
And you know who they said should be the manager?
Who?
Red Holdsworth. Because he looks after Better Boys good, don't he? So I think he should be the manager because he does a good job at Better Boys.
So we might not be any good at football, but we would certainly have the best merchandising in the world, without any argument whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Cocker. I'll have to do a runner, but I'll check out. I think Ecuador are going to qualify.
Yeah.
And then you can go across and support them.
Oh, that will be nice. And if you come round, Flo, I'll show you the medal that the pensioners won for coming third.
Oh, they got a medal, did they?
Yeah, they got a little medal.
What were the opposition like?
Well, they was the one team was very, very fat. That was well out of condition, but because they was so big, they could float in the water and everything, and they looked impressive. And because the fact that I think one of the women was on steroids, and I don't think the judges would argue with her in case she beat them up, like.
Because it's big stuff, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Big stuff. Pensioners synchronised swimming in Tenerife.
Yeah, it was. And when this one group of women got in, all the surfboarders come round and started jumping in the pool.
Did they now?
Because the waves was that big. Anyway, Flora, I'm
all right,
you.
Cocker, it's nice to have you back.
And it's lovely to talk to you again.
Okay,
and have you had some new singers for the jingles, Petal?
Yes.
Because I thought you had, because I thought that was different.
Yes, they are different. We've changed them since you've been away.
All right then, Blossom.
Okay then.
Bye, fruitcake.
Bye, me old coal scuttle.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra. There we go. The captain returned with a problem because the pensioners were going to go out and support England in the World Cup finals. Now that it looks like you're going to have to follow Ecuador or somebody like that. We've got, I think it's Steve next. Good morning.
Morning.
Hello, Steve. What can we do you for?
Well, ringing about England.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Very, wasn't it?
Very disappointing for English football.
I was
For
biting me
British
lip.
football, because Scotland have gone as well, haven't they?
Well, I was working out that in the unlikely event, well, no, in the highly likely event of Holland turning Poland over, I'm going to be nearly 40 before they have any sort of chance of winning the World Cup. 40, man!
Oh my God. Past it then.
Absolutely. I was only 7 when they won it the last time. I was a bit young to appreciate it. Where did it go wrong?
Months ago, maybe even 3 years ago when Taylor was appointed. You know, we've never had a very, very strong England side since Taylor took over, since the World Cup match, where we went out on penalties in the third place match. Since then, I don't think we've ever really looked a good side. You look at the number of players he's used an unbelievable amount of players. He's never really known in his own mind, I don't think, what he was really trying to do and what he really wanted to do. Very wishy-washy. He's all over the place. He just picks so many players. It's never going to come together. I mean, tonight Merson and Shearer, it's probably the first time they've played together. For England, he's been experimenting. All the important matches we've played, he's been experimenting, trying this out, trying that out, and what have we done?
Because to form a good strike partnership, you've got to basically be psychic, haven't you? You've got to know what the other guy's going to do.
Yeah.
Where he's going to run, where the ball's going to go, where
time.
to go and stand. Yes, it does take time.
Takes time. No strike partnership ever just got together overnight just like that. No one ever did. I mean, Bully and Mucci, they were excellent, but it took them time. It takes everyone time. And, you can't expect them to play together for the first, second, even third time and, expect it all to come off. He just won't do that.
But they did, that's exactly... But didn't he play tactically the right side?
Yeah, I thought it was quite close tonight to, what I would think myself. It was fairly close. I've always been a Merson fan. I've always considered...
I liked him in Whose Line Is It Anyway? I thought he was really good in that, really funny. Seems to have lost a lot of weight as well, didn't he? I noticed that.
Isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Couldn't believe myself.
Funny enough, that's exactly what I was thinking. He's a different person these days.
Nothing like that on the telly, does he?
No, he doesn't. And he went through the entire 90 minutes without telling a joke. So that was really good, that. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Good personality.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I've always been a Merson fan. I think, he's goal scorer. And Shearer, likewise. So that would be my ideal partnership up front, really. I think he's got that right, but this is the first time he's done it tonight. He's been there 3 years. No, is it 3 years or 4?
4 years. Well, about 3.5, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because Robson went after the last World Cup, after the quarter-finals.
No, I don't think we've looked any good since. Okay, it's not just about tonight's match. He's had 3.5 years. We struggled really to get through to the European Championships. It was, a late goal against Poland, I think, was it? It was a late goal against Poland that actually got us through to the European Championships. That was, edgy you see kind of stuff. We very nearly didn't qualify. We got there, we, made no real impact at all. Just looked a very average side, and,
As I remember the European Championships.
No, it's totally unmemorable. I've had, a lot of trouble tonight before I came. I just remembered it, and,
We were worse.
Don't ask me nothing about it, because I just cannot remember anything about it. It's so forgettable.
We were worse than not memorable. I believe that the team was absolutely disastrous.
It was. And obviously, we haven't qualified now. Well, mathematically it's possible, but, I can see us turning San Marino by a few goals, but I can't see the Dutch, losing their place in the World Cup to Poland. I can't see them doing that. They're just going to go there, they're going to defend, hit them on the break. They're not going to slip up. So, we can say without the cup. The campaign started a long time ago. We've lost to Norway. We've thrown a victory against Holland away. All these points, if we count them all up, we'd have been there tonight. We could have been beaten 2-0 tonight and still be in there. The campaign,
ran out of steam a long time ago.
I think so.
I see. You say that we should be able to run up a cricket score against San Marino, but let me ask you the question: which is rarer, rocking horse muck, or a clever English move within the opposition's penalty area?
The latter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They never seem in control. I think that was the problem I have with the team.
None of them looked good on the ball, did they? None of them looked like they really wanted the ball and knew what they wanted to do with the ball. Very uneasy on the ball. I mean, that's that's the thing about English football at the moment. That the lady who was on first, she was, you know, very correct, grassroots level. You know, I passed through the education system not that long ago in PE lessons. You know, we was never taught, you know, any skill on the ball. Just get the ball, you know, tough tackling. That's what's, you know, really drummed into you know, get that tackling, be tough.
Who was your PE teacher? It wasn't a Mr. V. Jones by any chance, was it?
It wasn't.
You have a very short haircut, look a bit psychopathic.
Similar mentality. You know, you got to get that tackling, you know, no space on the ball. That was the emphasis. You know, give no one any time, give no one no space. And that's good. That's up to a point if you want to stop the opposition, but that's what all the people in England learn. That's, you know, that's our football at the moment, and that's the way it looks out there tonight. Individual skill is really lacking to enormous extent. You look at Ince in our midfield, you look at Palmer, you know, they just do not look very good on the ball. Platty, obviously, you know, he's a good player, I rate Platty. And Gascoigne, who is without tonight, you know, I won't hear any criticism of Gascoigne. I really do believe he's the best player England have got now, and we have had for some time. But players like Chrissy Waddle, they've got it. You know, I think surely there's room for Chris Waddle in our side. There's such a lack of skill there. You know, Chris Waddle has actually got skill.
I think one of the biggest shames about last night was the absence of Psycho.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was knocking tough tackling, but when you're in defence, you know, you saved England so many times. And
well, you look at the free kicks he's been hitting for
oh,
Forest
yeah,
recently.
we missed him, yeah. Mind you, Dorigo's was a nice one, but Dorigo never really looked in it tonight.
Well, Dorigo was doing things like attempting to score from 40 yards.
He did that a few times, didn't he?
I mean, okay, yes,
the goalkeeper hardly have to move.
I accept it. Well, half the time he didn't have to move because it was going 40 feet over the bar.
That's what I mean.
The only thing that had to move was a circling astronaut. Oh, God, Dorigo's on the ball. Better shift me spaceship. Listen, I've got to move on, mate.
Okay, right. It's a sad night for English football, that's what I want to say, and British football. But come on, Wales.
Absolutely.
Fly the flag.
Oh, lovely. yes, there we go. Innit? We'll all be desperately checking our family trees for some claim to Welsh ancestry.
I can't imagine a World Cup without England or Scotland. That way, you know. 1978 was the last time we didn't qualify. I was 4 years old. Vague memories, that's all.
I remember then, and I'll tell you that a World Cup without England in it is it's like an egg without a yolk. You know, it's hardly worth it.
Almost pointless, isn't it? I'll tell you what we ought to do, because we invented the game.
Yes.
I think we ought to be allowed into every World Cup automatically.
Absolutely.
You know, I can't see. You know, I think it's lunacy that we're not allowed in every World Cup and every European Championship. I can't. You know, we created the game. Why can't we qualify automatically?
Damn foreigners.
Germans are running the show. That's
absolutely.
Right. The referee tonight.
Yeah, I reckon he hasn't. I had this theory that what was happening, I don't know where he was from, but I suspect it was Cologne. And I suspect that he once sat under 1,000 British bombers and he hasn't forgotten about it.
No doubt.
Absolutely. God, they haven't got any sense of humour at all, have they, the Germans?
Oh, no forgiveness either.
Nah, 45 years on.
Good memories, I've got good memories. That's what it must have been.
Still getting upset about it just because they lost.
But we can blame the referee all we want. You know, the results didn't come, you know, months ago. We've lost in Norway. You know, obviously tonight we was cheated, but it shouldn't have had to come to that tonight. We should have been there. But there you go. Time must go.
That's football.
Okay, yeah.
All right, mate.
Cheers, thanks a lot. Good night.
754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. It is a free-for-all, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about. Most people electing to voice their opinions on the England performance, not just in last night's game against Holland, but also I think you can't really take it out of context. You've got to look at it in the light of what went on before in our qualifying matches, the disaster against Poland, the throwing away of a point. I think it's a point. You only get 2 points for a win, I think. Against Holland at Wembley, we were 2-0 up, we threw it. So half an hour. You could argue, though, that half an hour madness against Holland at Wembley and a diabolical refereeing decision against Holland last night in Rotterdam has robbed England of its place in the World Cup finals. However, Lynn, she was our first caller on. She said, look, problem is, don't blame, yes, Mr. Koolman, because it's not his fault. England just aren't good enough. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC, and in power to your duvet. We'll be back to the lines after this award-winning commercial break.
Imagine trying to windsurf on a loofah. Imagine trying to balance an elephant on a matchstick. Imagine trying to run a business without the HiCom 100 GPT communications phone system from Telecom Midlands. The HiCom 100 is a high-quality system at a low price. It offers time and money-saving features, flexibility to suit your business needs, and effective call handling to build customer confidence. For a free quotation, call Telecom Midlands on 0384 287 027. Or you could try juggling with custard.
At Discount Ceramics, your only limit is your imagination. They've tiles for your bathroom, tiles for your shower room, tiles for your kitchen, and more. Discount Ceramics' low prices mean you can really go to town. In your kitchen, think how great tiles would look on the floor and on the work surface, as well as on the walls. With Discount Ceramics' trade prices and free delivery, your only limit is your imagination. Discount Ceramics, open every day at 31 Birmingham New Road, Parkfields, Wolverhampton.
Visit Discount Ceramics now and get discounts of up to 40%. Act now. This is a limited period offer. Discount Ceramics. Phone them on Wolverhampton 620-679.
Oh, hello there, Maud.
Hello, it's a lovely day.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Gorgeous. Listen, I hope you don't mind me asking, but I've been dying to know this for ages. Have you gone and changed your sheets yet?
No, not yet. I've got a few more days in them. I'll probably do it on Friday. Worse when I get some dog food, see?
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Have you changed your sheets yet for new Kleenex quilted toilet tissue? Because it's quilted, it's the thickest, softest, most absorbent you can buy. Kleenex quilted toilet tissue. Why have sheets when you can have a quilt?
Beacon Radio.
Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. Next on the lines with more semantic backflips, it is Jamo, the parrot, with his human spokesperson, Johnny Morris. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, John.
How are you?
I'm very well. Well, I'm not. I'm gutted.
Well, hindsight. I spoke to you the other night and I told you the result.
Did you have any money on it?
No, I wouldn't back against my old country.
What, even for money?
No. But Jamo's been talking to me tonight.
And what has Jamo been saying, John?
Well, the other night we're just good enough.
Hello? Are you phoning us from a different planet or something this morning?
No, well, what's happening?
You're sort of fading in and then fading out.
Oh, must be the old,
Get
me back.
Get you back?
Well, have to get me back.
Sorry, say that again.
What's happening? It's sort of disappearing on me.
Yes, you're disappearing on us.
I've got to sort of step up the phone to them when it couldn't become a fight in the cable.
You really should pay your phone bill, you know.
Could be a date. Oh, not very long.
I'll tell you what, put your phone down, we'll give you a call back, okay?
Mate.
Alright, we'll try that, see if it works. Give Mr. J. Morris a call back, because we want to find out exactly what Jamo the parrot... Well, put your phone down then, you plonk. Now we'll give you one more go, then we'll go to Shafiq and try and get him back a bit later. Ah, it ringeth. Isn't technology marvellous? Ah, we've got him back, and he's here, and it sounds like a better line. Good morning again.
Good, how are you? I'm glad you got me back, because, God, I've been wanting to talk to you.
Well, now, here you are, John.
Hindsight, I said, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Wasn't that what Francis Drake sailed around the world in?
That's right. It was the wind that did it.
He circumcised the globe with a 12-foot cutter.
It was certainly the wind. I don't know whose wind, but it was the wind.
The wind did it.
Well, I said we weren't good enough on Monday night, didn't I? It's all right, these blokes coming on like the last bloke and criticising at one moment in time. We just
quite a good record, isn't it? Shouldn't
well,
criticise
that's right. It just comes out like that. But we weren't good enough tonight, and simple as that. And unfortunately, I would like, honestly, and I would like England to step back now and give ourselves 5 years and say, OK, let's start again. It's giving us a chance now to start again and say, OK, let's get the organisation right. Let's get the right sort of football, right sort of people to start with into the game.
But can the organisation ever be right, given that I mean, look at who's on the selection committee. Peter Swales, possibly the most disliked man in football.
Now, you're not going to get me doing one thing. I've had a word with Jamo, and everybody you spoke tonight to about the England side, you've got talking about individuals. And Jamo said, don't talk to that Ian Perry about individuals. Because you're only going downhill then.
You've got to, though, haven't you? Because,
You know, you haven't got to. You can talk about the game in its entirety without mentioning anybody at all.
Well, go on, then.
Well, that's what he said.
Go on, you do it, then.
He
You do it, without mentioning...
That bloke, he said on the phone, he's got everybody tonight talking about this bloke, that bloke, the other bloke, and any other bloke you wanted to talk about, but not the game itself.
Right, well, you do it without reference to individuals,
Well,
then.
you've got to, really, haven't you?
No.
I mean, the game itself is, in this country, has gone somehow wrong from about 1970. We seem to have gone... you notice it tonight, we got the ball in defence, and we had it 30 seconds, and where did it go? Up to their defence. And what did they do with it? They had a look at it, they kept it, and thought, well, we'll keep this ball and just play it around a bit, and we'll give it them back again, and then England will boot it back up the field. We'll keep it again and play it around a bit. And in the end, they won on solely bottom end skill. They didn't woof the ball up the field hardly once, I don't think.
Well, apart from in the last 15 minutes, which is entirely understandable.
Well, of course.
Trying to catch England on the break.
The game was already strangled then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it'd gone. It was history.
But we tended to get hold of the ball and move it as far as we could. And unfortunately, the people that were... Gia Jowo in the background, he's playing with his bell there.
Is he?
He's very, 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 very upset tonight.
Ah.
So he's biting his bell.
I suppose he's sick as a parrot then, is he?
Oh, he's sick. Good job you got that one in.
It is, isn't it?
But I was as well, really, because I want England to win, you know. And we were all greatly disappointed in the Morris household tonight that England lost. But there again, we do deserve it. Our football isn't right. I mean, especially at the local level. I mean, it might be okay for about the top 5 or 6 clubs who are making money, but the rest of English football is really struggling, isn't it?
So it's a question of we don't build on or off the field.
Yes, and right, somebody just happened to mention schools tonight, which detracted from individual names and individual people and individuals' clubs.